Imagine content creators talking about stay away from the white man, as if the white man is going to stop me from going outside, as if the white man is telling me that I can't get a 9 to 5.
You can stay.
Ah, Toby, stay. Toby, stay. Toby, be good now. Toby, be real good.
As if the white man is going to stop me from doing what the F I want to do. Are we serious? Stay away from the white man. We got to stop the cap. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we get distracted when they bring up extra stuff on the plate. Let's talk about the meat, not the mashed potatoes and the broccoli and spinach. Let's talk about the T-bone steak. Why, when Tristan wants to talk to Mr. Brandon Tatum, he's talking about Nolan Wells is not fully black, he's half Asian. What does that have to do with anything? As if when you bleed, it's not red. Doesn't matter what color you are. When you bleed, it's the same color. Bruh, when I heard that nonsense talking about Nolan Wells not fully black, first of all, this man is still alive, Mr. Tristan, but he wants to play victim? Stop the cap. Imagine playing victim and you're still alive. That's some crazy work. So this man Tristan, and link is going to be in my description to if y'all want to watch a full interview on Mr. Brandon Tatum's podcast. This man Tristan talking about, did you know that Nolan Wells is not fully black? Oh yeah, he's half Asian. So because he's getting attacked, talking about he's not getting support from the black community, he wants to proceed to go on a YouTuber's podcast talking about Nolan Wells is not fully black, he's half Asian. So what was your agenda by saying that, Mr. Tristan? Were you trying to stop the foundational black Americans from donating to his GoFundMe? Were you trying to stop the support, as if that was going to stop the support because he's half Asian? First of all, scientifically, anything mixed with black is the dominant race. So anything mixed with black, automatically black is going to dominate. So for Mr. Tristan to talk about Nolan Wells not fully black, that's a huge red flag. And I think he needs to be investigated 100% because of all things. Mr. Tristan should have came on the mic and said, yo, if I had the opportunity to answer one of those calls, because I missed two of them because I was asleep. If I could go back in time, I would have answered that phone call. Maybe Nolan Wells would still be here today and not have to live with that for the rest of my life. He was such a good friend and I couldn't return the favor. Of all things to say, he could have, Nolan Wells, every time he walked into the room, he was a ray of sunshine, nothing but positivity. You always wanted to be around the kid, always was uplifting, when everybody else turned on me, he was always there, and it's going to pain me that I can never call his name again, and that's on my hands. And once again, if I can go back in time, I would have answered one of those two calls because I was asleep. Instead, he wants to say Nolan Wells is not fully black, he's half Asian. Mr. Tristan, that's a huge red flag, ladies and gentlemen. And also, whose idea was it for these kids to even go on a podcast? I thought if you're going on an ongoing investigation, you're supposed to stay silent. But these kids are talking as if this is a Netflix special. Speaking of Netflix special, I believe Tyler Perry, he's going to make a movie out of this situation because he paid for the funeral. So he's going to get all that and then some, making a movie. And everybody's going to want to see that movie because we're getting more answers through social media than the actual state of Mississippi, because leave it up to Mississippi, they're trying to sweep this underneath the rug. Literally, they sealed the first autopsy. How are you going to who gave you permission to seal the first autopsy? On top of that, the mother's been harassed at her workplace. What? They was harassing her place of occupation. The nursing board had to get involved and they officially closed the case, but they were trying to leave her bad reviews and leave her homeless out here on these streets. So on top of her losing her son, they're trying to make her homeless. Then they're calling the mother a grifter, saying, why did she drop a cash app? Why did she drop a GoFundMe the same day she found out Nolan Wells was deceased? That's some crazy work, attacking a grieving mother. But if he was another complexion, oh my gosh, all the sympathy in the world would be for the mom. But because she's a melanated woman, she gets no love? That's some crazy work, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your take on Nolan Wells. Do you believe the mom is a grifter? Or does she have the right to find the answers of what transpired with her son? Because everybody else got to go home. Unfortunately, Nolan Wells didn't. The only ninja. 10K mile radius, 1K people on the island. Nobody saw Nolan. So if nobody saw Nolan, you have to process of elimination. If nobody saw Nolan and there's 1K people on the island, obviously he's out at sea. Thus he was washed on the island. Because how you gonna look for somebody for 2 days and the man is on the island? It doesn't take some. It does not take that long to find somebody if he's on the island. So it's either he was at sea and he washed up, or they had his body and they dumped his ass at sea and then he eventually washed up on shore. Because the stories are too inconsistent. Then they want to talk about natural drowning. He was faded. Why is the blood work not being released? What is taking so long? This is some crazy work. You know why the blood work's not being released, ladies and gentlemen? Because if the blood work was released, that would also expose Nolan Wells' friends.